Hey folks, it's just Amy, and I wanted to check in with you about information management, aka records management, and just see where we're at with regards to the class and to give you a little bit of information about Chapter 2 and where we'll be going. So I'm really excited to pull up Blackboard here and excited to announce that everybody, almost all of you, have gotten into MindTap. So that's pretty exciting. I would love to hear feedback about the product. Again, the meat of the product isn't really going to happen until chapter 3. Same thing with this course. It gets you in kind of easy in chapters 1 and chapters 2. We push really, really hard. Then we end with a couple easier chapters with more information and our final assignment, and then we're good to go. So with that being said, this is chapter 2. There is a PowerPoint here for you to review, and again, just general information about the chapter and about kind of the careers that you can expect in the records information management environment. Um, I have worked with records all my life. It's amazing how sometimes you'll work in offices where they're very paper heavy. Other offices, everything will be electronically filed. So it kind of depends on where you're at, and just want to show you a little bit more about MindTap and what to expect as we jump into Chapter 3 next week. That's the one that will really start to be a heavy hitter with regards to the simulation packet and your beginning work with Access. So let's take a look at MindTap here. I've bounced it to week 3, and again, just make sure that you're looking at the views. I kind of like the unit view, and again, here's chapter 2. You can look at this however you like. Mine will be a little bit different from yours just because I'm in instructor view right now. Okay, so with that being said, these are the items that are for practice here. Okay, and I encourage you to do all of those. And then we have the items that are graded. Okay, now this time right now, weeks 1, weeks 2, weeks 3, this is the time for you to begin to get comfortable with Microsoft Access if you haven't had that course already. I wish it was a prereq for the class, but I will get you through it, and there are some great tools here for you to utilize. Microsoft Access is a database software, and it organizes data. It allows us to ask the data questions to get the necessary information that we need. So it is very important in the records information management area because we might look for customers that are owing us payment. We might need to look up an address, any type of information that might go along with some data. I love to shop at Target. I'm sad that we no longer have a Target here in Superior, but when I go to get that 12-pack of Diet Coke, we scan that with the UBC code. That UBC code is very unique to that 12-pack of Diet Coke that goes into the computer software at Target from the UBC code going over the cashier laser scan. It tells me if it's on sale or not on sale. From there, it pulls up on the cash register, tells me it's $5.97 or whatever it is, but it also goes to the Superior location and minuses that out of their inventory. From there, it might go to the Coca-Cola distributor to see when they may need more Diet Coke ahead of a scheduled order. That's how intertwined those databases are because there's relationships between the tables. Very similar to Excel, but very different as well. With that being said, if you come into the unit view, and I'm going to come back here, there is an area here for those of you that have not had access to look at some tutorials, and I strongly encourage you to do that. If you're working on a Mac, there is no access for a Mac. You must get access to a PC to do the homework that you will be doing in Access. Now, for those of you that have used SAM in Word, PowerPoint, and etc., they have integrated SAM into this. You don't need a separate access code, but that environment will look similar as we start to get into the next chapters. And I'll go over that as well. When you click on these tutorials, you can see here that it will kind of walk you through learning the software. Okay, and I really strongly encourage you, if you have no access experience, to get out here and play with this. All Access databases, I'm going to show you right here, are going to start with a blank database. And I'm going to open up one here. I'm going to call this one, Amy info. Okay, I can change the location, but it's telling me right here that it's saved on this computer in the Documents folder. I'm going to hit Create. Now there are four main components to when you create Access databases. And the four main components that you need to know that you're able to create are tables, forms, queries, and reports. Okay, and you can see that right here. The table is very similar to what you would see in Excel. In Excel, we have columns and rows, and in fields, or excuse me, in Access, we have fields and records. Fields are going up and down, records are going across. Okay, so you can, again, design this from the ground up because when you think about Target, a large company, their databases are enormous. They're not using Excel, they're using created ones by Cisco and etc. But they want to capitalize on every piece of storage. So they design them from the background. Right now we're looking at data sheet view, which looks very similar to Excel, but when we design from the background to cut down on space, you can set up your column headings. Okay, you can set up the data type. Okay, and you can also manipulate what the field size may be. So for the state, I'm going to bring that down to a field size of 2 to eliminate space and storage. Okay, now this kind of mock database that I'm working on right now would be something I would use for family and friends to kind of create maybe a mailing list for Christmas cards and holiday birthday cards, etc. I'm going to go back into this view to data view. Okay, I'm first going to save it. And now I can start to input that information. Now you'll notice here that I have this ID and I'm going to put it back into design view. There's a key here. The power of the Access database is a field that's called a unique identifier. It allows us to connect our tables to filter them out more. So when you're thinking of your customers or your unique identifiers, we're looking for something like a customer account number, we're looking for a social security number, an ID number, a UBC code, ISBN number, something that's very unique that we can connect the information together. Now I'm going to go back into data sheet view and this is where we would enter that information. Okay, and I would need more information. I hit enter and I'm on to the next one. Now, sometimes with Access, if you make a mistake, sometimes it's difficult to get back in there and correct it. And so that's the part that you're going to have to experiment with. Sometimes if I've been stuck, I've had to put even a name in here, even if I hadn't wanted to, and then I can go back and delete it and manipulate that. Oops. Now see, you can see that I am unable to select any more letters because I put that 2 in there. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to do one more. Okay, and there's another record. Now you can come here and you'll see create these different tabs. I could create a query. You can design it yourself or use a query wizard. You can create a form, and then there's also reports. This is the power. The reports are the sheets or the information that you would pull out for your boss, and away you would go. Now, a query asks this database a question. I might want to ask this database how many customers or family members do I have in Duluth, Minnesota? That's pretty easy to see that Anna lives in Duluth, Minnesota. But again, when you think back to Target, there are multiple items that could be similar, and so we do need to find that unique identifier. This is just a little introduction into Access right now to get you kind of familiar with it. But again, I would strongly encourage you to come out here and work on these pieces. Coming back to chapter 2, you're going to do these 2 activities in MindTap. Again, the activity 2-1 and the web quiz, and those will be due next week. I'm excited to keep going with this and hear feedback about the MindTap assignments. And how you're liking this, or if you're not liking it, it's the first time that we're using this software. So again, hope all is well. Next week we will be getting into your simulation packet. All right, so again, I haven't talked to you about this yet, but in there's a little container that will look like a small box for you to put your cards into. But I would encourage all of you, if you have time, to go get a coupon holder like this and use this for your small files. I've dropped my little box before and it can be a mess, and so that's just a little pre-work for you. I would also tell you to start looking at this book while you have a little extra time this week and get a little feel or layout up for the land of that. Again, that will be coming in our next week's work, but it was great to touch base with you. Please feel free to bring any questions my way via email or through the water cooler discussion board in the course. Again, thanks for a great start and glad to see so many people in and actively using MindTap. Have a great day.